Mayong udto kanatong tanan. My dear friends, we always acknowledge the importance of signs in our lives, not only in the personal level, but as well as in the communal level. We cannot just imagine a life without signs. For although signs are realities that point us to another reality other than itself, even the most practical ones, when we hit the road, there are always traffic signs in which we have to obey, or else chaos will follow. Or even in the personal life, mga batanon si Dudong mangita og sign kung sukdon ba sana kanang sukdon or isugot ba siya ni Inday kung manguyab ba siya, no? And therefore, this is really part of our life, and this is something that is very human. This is part of who we are as human persons. And yet in the gospel today, it seems that the Lord is reproaching those people who are asking for signs. And here it is not about the practicality of signs that would lead us to the reality other than itself, but this is something to do with a deeper cause, and that is something to do with their life of faith. Kidaghan kayo sa sugilanon sa Ebanghelyo dili lang karon nga ang mga Hudiyo tungod sa ilahang way pagtuo, ilahang gi-challenge ang Ginoo, taga-economic sign aron mi motuo nga ikaw gayud ang dugay nang gihisgutan sa mga propeta, nga ikaw gayud ang Mesiyas nga amo nang dugay nga gipaabot nga mo'y muluwas kanamo. And therefore, this kind of attitude tells something. This kind of asking would in fact tell an attitude. Og dinhi sa ato Ebanghelyo karon, they are just displaying not their way of believing on the Lord, but the other way around, the opposite. They are just displaying their contempt to Jesus as not as the Messiah, but someone else. They're just displaying the lackness of their trust and faith. They're just displaying their indifference to Jesus. And therefore, there must be something that we have to learn why the Lord is giving them a strong reproach in today's gospel. In reference to the letter of Paul to the Romans, we're told about the obedience of faith as a virtue, as a starting point in which Paul became an apostle, where Paul was called to do and to labor in the vineyard of the Lord due to his obedience to faith. And due to this, he received the joy to be a servant of Jesus. No? He called himself to be the servant of Jesus, a slave of Jesus Christ. And this is the kind of attitude, in contrast to the attitudes of the Pharisees in today's gospel. An obedience of faith would open horizons in which otherwise our human mind cannot comprehend. For the eyes of faith has its own reason that reason cannot totally comprehend. Through the eyes of our faith, we can see a lot more than our naked eyes can see. With the life of faith, a bigger horizon and even a wide kind of comprehension of life in general would be given to us. Tungod kay mipuyo ta sa kinabuhi diha sa pagtuo. And this is not only this. To live a life of faith is advantageous in all levels of our living. Not only in our spirituality, but also in our relationships, in all our conducts of living. For we cannot dichotomize our life of faith, telling to us, whenever I attend the Mass, this is where I can wear my life of faith. But after this, then I will just live the kind of life that I want to live. But it is an integral way of living. And we are identified to the kind of faith that we are living actually. And this is what the Lord wants us of having. Instead of dwelling on indifference, instead of dwelling on doubt that would somehow corrupt our minds and our hearts, why not, just like St. Paul in today's reading to the Romans, to have that obedience in faith, so that in that kind of faith we can understand more and we can come to the knowledge of the truth. Amen.